Can you dig it? Dig it, sucker.
The podcast world is heating up with Wrestling Hall of Famer and current broadcaster Booker T.
On the five-time WCW champion. Now can you dig that?
Heated conversations with Booker T. Talking about everything in the ring, behind the scenes, and around the world. From MMA, wrestling, and boxing to music and sports superstars.
Tell me you did not just say that.
This is Heated Conversations with Booker T.
Welcome to another edition of Heated Conversation right here on Sports Radio 60, and I am your host, the five-time WCW champ and WWE Hall of Famer, Booker T. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. Everything on social media, he got it covered for you. What's going on, Brad?
What's going on, Book? Another day in paradise, as you say.
Another day, paradise.
Ole. We want to tell everybody to engage with us on social media using at Booker T Show on Twitter or at Booker T5X.
Got my dope producer in the house, Josh Reese, right now. He's all on the computer making sure everything is copacetic, if you understand.
That's a good vocab word. I think that was in my SAT prep a few years ago.
Yeah.
Copacetic.
Yeah. Definitely, guys. We're going to have an awesome show today. We got a lot of special guests. You know, I'm going to be on the show today. Got AJ Styles. I'm going to be dropping in. We're doing the show today, guys, from the Toyota Center.
Yes.
Deep, you know, in the heart of the Toyota Center right now.
It's in the bowels of the Toyota Center.
Well, we're gonna be grabbing some guys, you know, as we go, to bring them on the show, just to, you know, make it something special for you guys. You know what I mean? Huh?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a spectacle back here, Book. I mean, this is an everyday thing for you now. That, I know you're back on the road. You're doing you're the new pre-show with Charlie Caruso. You have a new panel on the pay-per-views. But this is cool. This is gonna be cool for the fans. They get to feel like they're back here with us, experiencing the spectacle that is the WWE.
Almost like when you before the superstar walk out of the curtain, man, you get a chance to feel what they're going through. I know AJ Styles, a guy that he's a pupil of mine down there in TNA. I actually talked to the guy a whole lot as far as going out there from a performance standpoint, as well as a lot of the other guys that's on the roster. I wish, you know, we were, you know, it was, you know, we had the Monday night stars here, you know, like Big Cass. I'd love to get him in here and talk to him. But, you know, I'll get him next time.
We'll get him next time. They'll be here soon,
yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Guys, tonight, if you're rolling around anywhere. Around Texas City area, 10,000 M&F Lowry Expressway, guys, Rey Mysterio is in the house. He's going to be presenting the new Reality of Wrestling Championship title to the winner of that title tonight, guys.
The main
event. It's going to be a brand new Reality of Wrestling Championship title belt actually presented tonight by Rey Mysterio, guys. So if you're anywhere near 10,000 M&F Lowry Expressway, Booker T's World's Gym Arena. It's a big sign out there, guys.
It's big. It has your name on it.
It's a big sign out there. And it says Booker T World's Gym Arena. Guys, stop by. Tickets, you know,
they might be sold out by the time they get over their book.
Sparse.
They're sparse. There's very few left.
That'd be the word to use.
That's another SAT prep word that you use there. I think that there might be some standing room available in like you said, the main event tonight is a ladder match. Gino, the former Reality Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, is going one-on-one with Evan Snow in a ladder match. And anything goes in a ladder match. We've had some terrific ladder matches in the history of Reality of Wrestling. I can go back to the Pride versus Ruthless Ryan Davidson for the television championship in the finals. I can go back to Jared Steele and Mitch Baxter once again for the television championship. But we've never had a Reality of Wrestling ladder match for the heavyweight title. And tonight it will be presented to the winner by Rey Mysterio Jr.
Yeah, you know.
And it's a championship that's created by the same guy who created all the WWE titles.
You know,
Dave Milligan.
As well as the Texas Championship will be presented tonight. The new Texas Championship. You know, what the Texas Championship is about, guys. With Reality of Wrestling, we want a person that can go all over the country, all over the world, actually, and represent Texas. We need that guy that can go out there and get that done, and he's going to be presented tonight with that championship. Who that may be, guys, we're going to find out. It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
It could be anybody.
It could be anybody, So
and the Diamonds are in action tonight as well. You're going to see Kiera versus Princess Miranda. Perhaps the winner of that will be the number one contender for the Diamonds Championship. But you're going to get Kylie Ray in her rematch against Jada for the Diamonds Championship, too. So, I mean, titles are on the line all night long at Reality Wrestling. New champions, champions crown, rematches, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Christmas Chaos 11, the biggest show, I think, in Reality Wrestling history.
Yeah. Did you hear anything about, I was looking, Abel Andrew Jackson?
Well,
He's
yeah, he's
supposed
been
to
out
be
there.
bringing a title or something. That
I read that.
Did you see anything?
It was
about
on.
that?
It was on the sheets online.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll find out all about that.
I don't know. It's not commissioned by you.
It's not commissioned at all. Guys, come out and check out the show tonight. Make sure you watch the show tonight at midnight as well on the CW Network. I want to thank the CW Network. They've been putting in a lot of work for us to pull this show off tonight. Ticket sales totally went through the roof. Sold out. But we still got some available.
They're sparse. Sparse.
Standing room only.
Standing room only.
It's going to be good. I want to thank CW for putting in work, making this thing work. Actually, I want to thank CW also for giving me a plug. My new show on CW going to be doing it. Coming up real soon.
Mm-hmm.
If you got some problems, you know what I mean. Let me know what your problem is. Maybe I can fix it.
You know what's interesting about that book is that you are the go-to guy. The funny thing about it is I remember one time I had some incident that happened. I don't know if you remember this, but you're the first person that called, and I said, hey, Book, this just happened. Is this the right way to handle the situation? You said, damn Skippy it is. This is how I would do it. And it makes you feel better. So Booker is the go-to guy backstage, and now I'm going to be on television.
I'll be working with News Fix, you know what I mean? And, just let me know. Maybe I can fix it. You like that, don't you?
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
I made that up.
That was pretty good.
On the show,
That was pretty good.
Wow, that's pretty good. You know what I mean? So definitely, I just want to, I'm humbled. I'm humble. But, guys, we got to talk about last week's fight night.
Well, can I just start off by saying, as normal, and I did call it on the show. I didn't call the winner. I said if Booker goes the other way, that means he's right and I'm wrong. Yeah. And once again, you pick the top two once again.
Normally I pick them. You know what I mean? Normally I can pick them. You know what I mean? Normally I pick them real good. That's the thing. Mighty Mouse. Let's talk about Mighty Mouse.
Let's talk about that fight.
I don't think he underestimated this guy, Elliott. I don't think he underestimated Elliott at all. I do think the awkwardness, the unorthodox style. I said that's going to be the one thing that's going to be different in this fight, how unorthodox this guy is. He's coming from all different directions. I thought Mighty Mouse would, slow him down and catch up with him, in the end, but Elliott persisted. I mean, for this guy to, come back in the UFC, go through the, tough 24, got to give him a lot of credit for that. A lot of guys, from all over the world, the best, fighters from around the world in that division, was brought in, for one reason, to capture that number one spot to go against Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. And the thing is, they found the guy. The guy was Elliott, Tim Elliott, guy who had been in the UFC before, a guy that had 6 fights. The guy had lost his last 3 UFC fights, but he was the toughest guy for the task, as well as it was a tough task. He was. Give it up to Tim Elliott.
I feel like we kind of underestimated. I don't know how you felt. I felt, especially me, I underestimated Tim Elliott going into this fight. There was no way I saw this going past the second round. I didn't know if I saw it going past 3.5 minutes. That was the cap I put on this. That's how confident I was in Mighty Mouse, and I got to think that's how confident Mighty Mouse was in himself, too. I agree. I don't think that he underestimated Tim Elliott, but I think he may have overestimated himself. He still came off the victor, but I think he went in there with that, as you call it, the cloak of invincibility. Yeah. No one's been able to test me yet, and then he went in there and he got tested. He got tested.
He got caught with it wasn't even a right hand. It was like a right forearm,
yeah.
It was throwing the shot, but he got caught with that full right on the chin, and he dropped. And
everybody took a deep breath.
Because one thing I'm gonna tell you, it's something about getting hit on the chin. It's happened to me before. I've gotten hit on the chin, in a wrestling match. I remember having a wrestling JBL one night, and it was a house show.
That's a rough night already, right?
No, I mean JBL and I, we go back. We're good friends, So working JBL, I mean, it's a night off. You know what I mean, for someone like me, And man, we're out there working, and I was the baby face, he was the heel. And, I pulled him outside of the ring, and I'm wailing on him, big. I'm hitting him with all kind of chops and hits, and then he just threw a little right hand, and it just touched me on the chin, and my knees just went away. And I went down to my knees, and I go, what happened here? What's going on? I'm wondering what's going on as I'm going down. It was nothing.
You're like, how's the floor coming up? I don't understand.
Bro, he apologized to me the whole match after that. He goes, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Here, get your receipt. Get your receipt. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting the receipt. But I tell you, that one shot right there, like you say, everybody held their breath for a moment because it looked like Demetrius Johnson title was, it looked like we was about to have that.
It looked like it was fleeting
Matt
away.
Sarah, GSP
just
moment.
like you called.
I didn't call it.
Well, you said like this could be.
Like the people have been saying, let me give that credit to somebody else. I don't want anybody calling in to the show saying Booker T is infringing on, what do they call that?
Gimmick infringement?
No. What did Trump's wife do?
Plagiarism.
Plagiarism, man. I don't want nobody, talking about plagiarize, something, you know what I mean? So definitely that's the way it looked like it could have went there for a second. But Mighty Mouse, he prevailed. He proved that he is the champion. But the one thing I must say before we take a break here, coming up here in about 2 minutes, and then we got to talk about that Joseph Benavidez Cejudo fight. One thing we got to talk about is Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott was a little bigger than Mighty Mouse. He was a little longer than Mighty Mouse. He was stronger than Mighty Mouse. As you notice, every time Mighty Mouse had him in a position where it should have been, the fight should have been over from a, armbar, a choke out, whatever. The guy was strong enough to fight it off. And that's the problem that Mighty Mouse will have if and ever he try to move up in weight. He is a true flyweight. He is a true small guy, and I think that's where his fight game is. But I don't think that's where the money is going to be going forward. I think he's had his last big money fight, in that division. So we'll see where Mighty Mouse lands here in the future.
I think we talked about it last Saturday in the show. I think that his future is moving up in weight.
Move him up.
But
Mighty
first,
Mouse.
I think we're going to see this rematch. I think we're going to see a Tim Elliott
Mighty Mouse rematch. Hey, you know what? Perhaps. All right. This heated conversation, guys. Stick with me. We're going to be talking a little bit more back in a minute.
You're listening to Heated Conversations.
Tell me you did not just say that.
With Wrestling Hall of Famer Booker T.
Introducing Play.it, a podcast network like no other. Home to top sports on-demand programming, including CBS sports experts and digital exclusives from dynamic personalities.
Hey, join me, Taz.
Holy Magic Man Malinaji, two-time world champion.
Hey, it's Boomer and Carton.
Jim Rome.
Doug Gottlieb, Joe Rosen here.
Let's pound the pavement and get some news.
Let's hand out some fantasy football advice.
Play.it is delivering storytelling at its best.
Giving you all the hot topics every week.
Hear what you've been missing at Play.it.
Talking MMA, wrestling, and boxing to music and sports superstars.
Can you dig it, sucker?
This is Heated Conversations with Booker T.
Welcome back to Heated Conversations on Sports Radio 610. Guys, we're in a heated conversation about some MMA right now, UFC. Tough 24 went down last week, and like we said, Demetrius Johnson, he had a rough fight. But the co-main event, those guys went out there and stepped up. They brought it all the way. It was a fight to the finish. Joseph Benavidez versus Henry Cejudo. And the thing is, that fight, when you look at it from a disposition, it could have went either way.
I think it could. I think it really, you could make the argument that Cejudo should have won that fight based on points.
I mean, you can make the argument.
Just because of the deduction of points from Benavidez.
The thing is, I really, going into this fight, I said it. I said if Joseph Benavidez was to have lost that fight, it could have been his last fight, I think, in the UFC. I don't think, they would have had, much use for Joseph Benavidez if he would have went out there and lost that fight. That's why, I can, actually sit back and say maybe the numbers were skewed a little bit. Cejudo, he's a guy I felt like could lose a fight in the UFC. He's not that hot of a commodity anyway. So that's just my take on that.
I think, though, Cejudo went in there and definitely showed. I mean, we talked about it last week on the show, how he was going to go in there and try to at least get back that loss that he had to Demetrius Johnson. He's going to go out there and try to prove
that was a devastating loss.
It was devastating. He was going to go in there and try to prove that he has a stand here in the featherweight division, or in the flyweight division. I'm sorry, and he went out there, and these two guys, they went out swinging at each other. You cannot say this fight wasn't entertaining. They were punching, they were kicking, it was nonstop action this whole time, and it was one of those things to where these guys had to look at each other when the round 3 ended, and we're like, man, yeah. I got mad respect for you.
This is a monster.
This is a monster.
It's a fight. The thing is, controversial ending, one could say.
Yeah.
Should they run it back?
I mean, can they do that though? I mean, can they go back and look at the footage? I mean, they don't have instant replay in the UFC.
No, I'm talking about do it all over again.
Oh, go back, fight
back
two.
And, fight two.
I think, you know what? I wouldn't be mad if they did another fight night of 6 months down the line where you saw a rematch of the co-main and the main events. I wouldn't mind that at all because both fights really over-delivered. When you look at them on paper, you're like, oh yeah, they're going to be somewhat okay fights, but that when they went on television in front of that crowd, they way over delivered. I wouldn't mind seeing rematches for both of them, especially that Cejudo Benavidez, because controversy. The numbers didn't really look like they made much sense to anyone just who has any kind of inkling of information when it comes to mixed martial arts. It didn't look like they made a lot of sense, especially with the deduction of points on Benavidez. I don't see how he still came out winning that split decision.
Yeah. You can look at it from that perspective, but either way, both those guys I feel like deserve the nod. Either way, if Cejudo would have won that fight, I would have said he won it. Benavidez, he got the nod. I definitely got to give him the props. The kid went out there and he fought tirelessly to the end of that fight. I called it.
You called it?
I said it was going to go that way. Only for certain reasons. I felt like it was going to. If it was close, I felt like Benavidez had the edge, just because they need Benavidez in that division for at least a couple more fights. That main event, Tim Elliott. I do think Tim Elliott may deserve a rematch.
I think he does
with Demetrius, because the thing is, where does Demetrius go after this? Who's going to fight? Who's next in line? He's pretty much cleaned up the whole division. Who do he fight? Henry? Who do he fight? Joseph Benavidez? I don't think anybody want to see a Benavidez versus
Johnson.
Mighty Mouse 3.
Yeah, I'm not really into that either. I think Mighty Mouse, like we said before the break, I think it's time for him to maybe do what Conor did. Remember, Conor cleaned out the featherweight division, dethroned Jose Aldo, and said, hey, I'm going to go up in weight.
Yeah, but like I just talked about, the problems that he had with a Tim Elliott, a guy who was
a little bit bigger than him.
Kicked out of the UFC for losing 3 fights in a row. This is the elite caliber of fighter that he is fighting. Now, that doesn't say that Elliott isn't a good fighter. Take nothing away from him. But for him to be the guy to now, challenge for that championship, it says a lot about Mighty Mouse and him moving up in the division. I just don't think he can do it. I just think that right there would be they created this division for Demetrius Johnson and guys like him. Why move up now? That's the question.
Because it's going to get to a point, Booker, where no one's going to care anymore. They're going to get to a point where they don't care about Mighty Mouse at all. He's not going to be interesting. He's going to go in there. He's going to do the same thing that he always does, unless it was almost like with Ronda. The only thing that made that division interesting again, the bantamweight division, is that she lost. So there's only one of two things that can happen. Either Demetrius Johnson moves up in weight to make himself a more interesting and compelling fighter, or he gets beat and the division gets interesting again. I think that if one of those two things don't happen, it's going to fall off in interest and people aren't going to care anymore.
Yeah. I tell you, man, I'm excited. I'm excited about what's next in the UFC. 2-0 206.
206.
Oh my goodness, 206 is coming up, and
I guess we should talk about it with
we
206.
definitely got to talk about 206 and the headline that is no more.
Is no more.
You
No
know,
DC.
No DC. No Rumble Johnson 2. Everybody was looking forward to DC Rumble Johnson 2. Well, I wasn't. I felt like the same thing was going to happen in the second fight that happened in the first fight. He's going to take him down. He was going to grind it out and get a victory. You know, that's the way DC see that fight going. I know he didn't want to stand up with a guy like Rumble Johnson. Now, going out with an injury, DC. Well, what is DC's injury?
I think it's a foot injury, right? Is it another foot injury? A heel or something like that?
You know, that always disturbs me when a fighter get hurt, in training camp going into a major fight.
But remember, earlier this year he got hurt in training camp when he was going into that fight with Bones Jones. And then he had to pull out, and that's when they went with Ovince St. Preux at the last second.
Exactly.
So this is a consistent thing with Daniel Cormier.
It makes you wonder.
It does make you wonder.
Make you wonder if DC want to fight these guys or not.
It's weird because, all of a sudden he's okay at 200, right? When he fights Silva, Anderson Silva. Oh, yeah, well, I could probably win that fight.
I can win that.
Let me just get him on the ground.
Yeah.
Now he got nervous with Bones Jones, maybe. Injury.
Yeah.
He gets nervous with Rumble Johnson. And Rumble, since their last fight, has definitely stepped up, in my opinion. Rumble Johnson has tried to redefine what his legacy is going to be.
I don't think Rumble stepped up or anything. I don't think he stepped down.
You think he's just stayed?
Rumble's problem is fighting the elite fighters. Rumble is a guy that can go out there. If he put hands on you, he could put you out. Just like with DC, he went out there and hit DC. Bang! DC, it was like dynamite. And that first fight, DC went down and said, whoa, let me regroup and look at this from a totally different perspective. So the thing is, take nothing away from Rumble Johnson and his power, and Rumble Johnson and his hands. The guy can go out there and do that. But it's his ground game. It's his stamina. Like Donald Trump say, his stamina.
Have the stamina.
Does he have the stamina? I don't think he has the stamina to go out and fight 5 rounds with a wrestler like DC, even though you still got to question and wonder, why is DC sitting at home and not preparing for 206?
Do you think DC's heart's still in the octagon? And when I say that, I don't mean not with the sport. Do you think it's still in the octagon? The guy in the last couple of years has transitioned. He went from heavyweight to light heavyweight, right? And then he transitioned also to being more of a on-air personality, commentator, broadcaster, and he seems to be real good at it. He's got a knack for it.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe his passion no longer lies with inside the octagon?
You know what? I don't think so. I think DC is one of those guys. He's been so overlooked for so many years. He's like the guy, in high school that was ugly and never had a girlfriend, and now he finds himself in the champion and women love him. DC is a guy, even though as champion, he still feel like he has something to prove.
Yeah.
So that's
well, he has
my
something
take.
to prove because of the elusive Bones Jones fight, right? But he is ugly. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm saying he was in high school.
When he was in high school.
He's balding now.
Balding. That's putting it nicely.
Might be a contributing factor. But no. I'm looking.
Do you think his passion's still there? He's still got a chip on his shoulder. Do you think that chip on his shoulder is from the John Jones fights?
You know what? I really think the John Jones fight did something to DC, and he felt like he needs to come back and avenge that loss. But I think DC is happy that he really didn't have to cross that bridge.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he'd
have been dethroned.
Well, that may have been a fight that he could not win, and then that goes, back to my analogy as far as, he'd go back to being,
the ugly high school kid.
Braces,
zits, the whole nine.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So fat. You know what I mean?
Well, what do you think about the main event here, though, at 206? Now it's Max Holloway, Anthony Pettis.
Oh, man. I tell you what, that's a great challenge for both guys, because I'm going to tell you right now, Showtime Pettis has had to come back and grind his way back to Javier Dos Anjos is no joke, and then to come back and have to fight guys like that, put himself back in position to go out there and say, hey, I got knocked off the throne, but I'm ready to come back and take the crown back. You got to give this kid a whole lot of credit, Showtime Pettis, a whole lot of credit for stepping into that, you know what I mean, knowing what he has to do to get back to the Wheaties box, knowing what he's got to do to get, back, on, ESPN and all of that stuff. At one point, this kid was the poster boy for the UFC. He could do no wrong, especially after the kick heard around the world, with Benson Henderson back in the WEC, the kick that made him, a superstar pretty much overnight.
Made him Showtime.
It made him Showtime, you know what I mean? So definitely it's going to be a good fight. But the guy that he's going to be in the ring with, the cage, right now we're doing the thing live from Toyota Center. SmackDown Live. When he get in the cage with this kid, Max Holloway, it's going to be a totally different thing. It's going to be a totally different element. This Max Holloway, he is no joke. Stick around. Back in a minute. Sports Radio 610.
You're listening to Heated Conversations.
Tell me you did not just say that.
With Wrestling Hall of Famer Booker T.
Introducing Play.it, a podcast network like no other. From award-winning news programming and #1 sports brands to entertainment and business leaders.
Welcome. We're going to make you laugh. We're going to make you think.
The biggest stories in entertainment.
What's happening in business today?
Relationships, dating, pop culture, celebrity.
Give you that news and information.
The biggest names in sports.
Play.it is delivering storytelling at its best.
You want to see something entertaining? Tune in.
Hear what you've been missing at Play.it.
Talking MMA, wrestling, and boxing to music and sports superstars.
Can you dig it, sucker?
This is Heated Conversations with Booker T.
Welcome back to another edition of Heated Conversation, guys. I told you I had a very special guest with me here today. The phenomenal one, AJ Styles, a man who has done it all, everywhere. And he's been champ now everywhere he's gone. Give it up to my man, AJ. What's going on, man?
What's up, bro?
Hey, man, another day in paradise, man. You living large now.
I'm trying to. I feel like I'm living large.
You always been living
I don't know how
large,
I look.
but now you just living a little bit larger. You finally made your way over the pond all the way to the WWE. And, you're in a situation kind of like I was once upon a time in WCW. I always thought that I was going to retire in WCW. Those guys was paying me a whole lot of money. I said, I ain't never leaving this. This is good. You know what I mean? But when finally the company was bought out by the WWE, I had no choice. And I remember Linda McMahon said, we finally got you. And it felt good. It felt good, actually, to be wanted. You yourself in that same position now, finally coming to the WWE and find yourself now the champion. But it wasn't given to you. You earned it. How do you feel about being here?
Well, the fact that you said I earned it means a lot. I don't want anything given to me. I want to earn everything I got. That way nobody can say I haven't worked for it. And being here has certainly been a blessing. All the stories we've heard in the past, well, either they weren't true or this place has changed because every expectation I had, is gone above and beyond by this company. It's an amazing place to work.
Yeah, it can scare you. All the rumors, you hear before you get here. You say, people it's always those stories, those horror stories. I have a wrestling school, and I don't have any old wrestlers because I don't want them coming in and corrupting my young guys with those stories because they got fired. They felt like the company belonged to them. First and foremost, it's a job, and like you say, you earned it. Like yourself, when I came over, I had to leave everything behind in WCW, all the titles, all the accolades. People thinking I was this. I had to come over and say, man, I got to prove I'm able to walk in that locker room. I got to prove I'm able to perform with the best guys in the business. And I got to say, AJ, you have definitely stepped up. And I wouldn't even say stepped up. You definitely have come in here and showed these guys you belong in the WWE.
Well, the talent here, makes it a little easier to belong. They're very accepting when I got here, so they made the transition easy. I know that sounds crazy, to come to such a, worldwide company like the WWE, but this is an amazing roster.
Yeah. That's the thing that for me, when I came over, the Chris Jericho's, the Triple H's, the Shawn Michaels, and all of those guys were over here, and I was like, man, I can't wait to get a chance. I used to actually be on, Monday Night Nitro, with a television watching Monday Night Raw, and those guys were over there. I was like, man, I wish I was a part of that. I remember the Brawl for All, and I was like, man, I would knock all these guys out. Please, let me get in this thing, you know what I mean? I want to even be in that, you know what I mean? But definitely coming over to WWE, you've proved to the world now being the champion. What is it like being the champion here in WWE? And I tell people all the time, being champion, I think is the hardest thing one could ever dream, ever imagine, ever want to happen to them. It's a monster. You got to be there, Jenny, on the spot. You got to be doing the interviews. You got to do the PR work. You know what I mean? You got to, be up doing, on sales and whatnot. You know what I mean? As well as you got to show up and be ready to perform each and every night. So how has been champion for you, as well as how have it changed your life?
Well, I mean, it's like you said, I've been champion everywhere, but it's not even close to being the WWE champion because it's so worldwide that everybody knows exactly who WWE is. So many times I've had a belt or a championship in other companies, and people go, if I was going through immigration, they'd say, what do you do? What'd you do over there? And I'm like, well, I wrestled. Oh, you mean like the WWE? every time. So now I'm like, no, I'm with WWE. I work for the, that's huge, man. And the one thing that you're talking about, being the WWE champ, the one thing that you got to do day in and day out is deliver.
Yeah.
And that's it's pressure, to be able to do that. But I enjoy that kind of pressure. It keeps me active, keeps me ready. That's a good thing. Keeps me young, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, I tell you right now, you're in a prime spot. We're getting close to that date, WrestleMania. Man, that's the biggest, spotlight you're ever going to be under. For myself, I got a chance to, represent the main event spot with Triple H back in the day, and it was an awesome night. It's one of those nights you go, wow, you just never want to forget it. You always want it to happen for you again. Now, you're getting ready to do it all over again. Your first one had to be huge, and now getting ready to go into it from a totally different perspective. What's the popularity of AJ Styles now compared to a couple of years ago?
Well,
of course, when you walk on the street.
Yeah, listen, my wife knows better to invite me to go to anything where there's a bunch of kids around because you'll get swamped. Yeah. I went to my son's parade in our little Gainesville city, and I got swamped. So it's totally different than anything I've ever been a part of. But it's unlike anything else I've ever been a part of. I mean, this is the WWE, and you don't realize how big it is until you get here.
Yeah. Well, you seem like you've been prepared for it more than anything. I say preparation is the only luck any man is ever going to have. And I think you being able to have had that worldwide experience, seeing exactly what it's like on the other side as well, now getting here to the WWE. I mean, I've been here now off and on, other than that 2 years I spent with you, teaching you.
Hey, there's a little bit of truth in that. I will admit it. I did learn some things from Booker T.
Yeah, definitely. But I've been here now for 16 years, and it's been an awesome run for me. And I'm going to be here now for a couple more years. So definitely, I just want to, you got any questions? Yeah, I know you got one.
We know, Book. You always said that when you came to WWE, the litmus test for you was getting into the ring with Shawn Michaels, and that's kind of been the match that everyone's been talking about for a long time. AJ, you tweeted out kind of a teaser that what if this would happen. Is that your dream match? Would you love to get in the ring with Shawn Michaels, the guy who's known as kind of the in-ring GOAT?
It's not up to me to have dream matches. It's up to the WWE Universe to have those dream matches. And whatever they want, I want to deliver. Yeah. And whether or not Shawn wants to do something like that, that's totally up to him. I totally respect who he is and what he's done for this business. And so that is totally in his court.
Yeah, that was the fish that got away from me. Yeah. But it's going to happen when, one way or the other, somewhere. You know what I mean? It might be in another life. You know what I mean? But it's going to happen, me and Shawn Michaels, one of these days. Hey, I want to thank you, AJ, for spending some time with me, Heated Conversation, Sports Radio 610. Keep doing your thing, bro. Keep doing your thing.
I'm going to do my best. That's all I can do.
Hey, guys, stick with me. I'll be back in a momento. Ole!
You're listening to Heated Conversations.
Tell me you did not just say that.
With Wrestling Hall of Famer Booker T.
This is Michael Rappaport of the I Am Rappaport Stereo Podcast. If you love fantasy football as much as I do, then come listen to the podcast for the Fantasy Football Follies every week. We are bringing the fun and the funk back to fantasy. If you want to dance with the dingo in daily or weekly fantasy football and my team, Rappaport's Delight, then tune in to the I Am Rappaport Stereo Podcast on iTunes, Play It /Rappaport, and more. Fantasy Football Follies.
I Am Rappaport Podcast.
Talking MMA, wrestling, and boxing to music and sports superstars.
Can you dig it, sucker?
This is Heated Conversations with Booker T.
Welcome back to Heated Conversation, guys. I told you I had another special guest that was going to be in the house with me. She is my partner. She is my partner in crime, if you feel what I'm saying. Got Renee Young here with me. How you feeling, Renee?
Good. I'm excited to be here on your radio show. I'm pretty stoked about this whole situation. I didn't think that I was deserving of the honor, but hell yeah, let's do this.
You a star now, baby.
I'm trying.
You feel me?
I'm trying so hard.
No, the thing is, you carry it well. What was your? I didn't do a lot of research on you before we start doing it.
It's all lies on the internet, whatever it says, no matter what.
That's why I'm asking you. What's your background?
So my background, I initially started in more of like a comedy background.
Yeah.
I did like Second City stuff immediately out of high school. And then just started mailing it in from there, more or less. But yeah, I did comedy. And then being in Toronto, I started working in sports right out of there because there's not a lot of places to work in television full-time in Toronto. Yeah. So when this opportunity, which I literally was knocking on the door to get to work at the sports station because they would do these comedic style interviews. It wasn't straight up sports. It was a lot of nonsense, which was up my alley. So yeah, I started doing that. And then it was at the Score in Toronto. They asked me to do this post Monday Night Raw show. So then I started watching WWE again, getting back in the swing of that. So I did that show for about 4 years, maybe 3 years prior to my contract being up at the Score, and then I got snagged up by WWE. Yeah.
I remember when I first got here, Linda McMahon told me, "We finally got you." Felt good, man. I was like, man, I finally made it.
Yeah, I never would have thought, it's funny, even when I look at it now, I'm like, man, the things that I get to do now of, having an action figure, being in the video game, seeing these, different things you get to do, doing Total Divas. It's those things would have never been on my radar had my boss at the Score not been like, hey, we need you to do this live show next week. You better know what you're talking about.
You know what, though? I never say, it's luck or anything like that. It's preparation. You was ready for when that knock came.
Yeah.
You was prepared when that knock. Tell all the young kids out there, you got to be ready when that knock come.
Totally.
Because the only luck you ever going to have in this lifetime is preparation. You got to be ready.
You have to be. And yeah, that's the thing. I was so lucky that I got to learn so much about WWE, and we actually worked really closely with WWE at the place that I worked at. So I knew what I was getting into when I got here. There's things to learn, obviously. There's always things to learn, but I knew who everybody was. I know what matches people were getting into. So I wasn't walking into it blindly, because if you walk into this blindly, I pity the fool.
But I've been a part of the business now for 26 years, and I think about how cool it's going to be for me, when I'm 80 years old, if I happen to live that long.
You will. You will. Your eyes will be really light blue at that point.
Dreads gray all the way down to the ground.
Oh my God, that would be so great.
Yes. I get a chance to look. I can look back and say, wow, man, I got a chance to do it. I got a chance to go around the world, see it all. How cool is it, for you, being a part of this now, and this job taking you all over the world, the education, I've gotten, just from seeing the world is unexplainable.
It's crazy. You get these life experiences that you couldn't get anywhere else. It's I mean, anything with WWE ends up being like a little bit of like it is entertainment boot camp a little bit because you're busy doing so much stuff. You're kind of bouncing all over the place. But yeah, I always get like a little bit nostalgic. It's like, you know, right now we're in Houston. I have so many memories of things that I've got to do in Houston. And, you know, luckily for me, it's like I get to travel with my boyfriend as well. So him and I get to do all these things together. And I mean, you know, from experience of that as well, of how much better that can make being on the road when you're doing that stuff. It's great.
Speaking of that, you know what I mean? It's just, you know,
spin it up.
A little segue, not a little segue there. You know what I mean? A lot of people know about the relationship. Yourself and Dean Ambrose. For me, when myself and my wife, Charmel, we was on the road together, it made life so much better for me. I'm talking about, you know, ride or die. You know, my wife, you know, totally 100%. I mean, she get in a fight with me.
Oh, of
no
course.
matter what.
You
know what
to.
I mean? She throw hands
Yeah.
if I get in a fight. You know what I mean? So, you know, how is that, you know, being on the road?
I think it's great because, I mean, if I wasn't on the road with him and much like, you know, I mean, there's tons of relationships here in WWE, but we have just a different understanding. I see what he's going through. I understand when there's times when he just needs to like take a moment and be in his Dean Ambrose mode and do his thing. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's like, yeah, we have our own memories that we get to create together all over the world. We have shut down hotels and hotel bars all over the world. So it's so awesome that we get to do that, but then we just get to go home together and just be like, oh, okay, cool. Now you want to go just down the street and go grab a sandwich or something. Like, you get both sides of it. Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. I love it.
Now, one of the things you mentioned you were able to do here is the Total Divas, which you're the newest cast member this season on Total Divas. And you talk about your relationship with Dean Ambrose. How has it affected the cameras following you and being around? Has it changed your day-to-day life, and how do you like being on the show?
It definitely changes your day-to-day life. I've said it before in interviews, like the main thing that was weird to me when I started doing it was you have cameras around you all the time, and like we're on TV all the time. We're used to having cameras around, but it's a different thing when they're filming you when you're out to dinner and you're having a cocktail and you know you start getting a little bit of loose lips when you're out there hanging out. But then the weird thing is that I would fall asleep after having said cocktails, and you wake up and you're like, oh, are there cameras still on me? Wait, what am I wearing? What's happening? It puts you in a little bit of a different mindset. But I mean, overall though, I mean, it's such a great experience. It's nice to have this other fan base that you can tap into. The show's been so popular. So yeah, I'm really happy to be able to join the cast, and now that it's airing and people getting to see this other side of my life and seeing this different side of Renee Young, getting to see me with Dean. Yeah, it's also really nerve-wracking though, because that's it. Yeah. Like, it's super raw, so people are either going to like you or they're not.
You know, I hear the show starting right now. We're shooting from the Toyota Center today, and I hear a little My House going on out there. I hear the fans, you know, getting rowdy, and that's that part right there. You know, even this many years, you know, into the business, you know, that performer in me still comes out. I still get, you know, goosebumps, you know, when I hear that stuff going on in the crowd, yelling
that
and whatnot.
Rumble in the building.
Yeah, I'm serious, man. I still get that feeling, which brings me to, you know, at one point, I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that you were thinking about getting in the ring and wrestling. Is that true or not?
So there's definitely an air of truth to that, but it was more so the fact, I think with anything with WWE, you got to be prepared for anything. How do I know Vince isn't going to call me and go, hey, P.S., you're going to be in this 8-woman tag match. You better know to throw a drop kick. Yeah. Do I have any training under my belt? Absolutely not. But, you know, I played a lot of sports growing up, so it's always funny to me working in WWE because I played sports at such a competitive level as a kid. And then I dropped that because I was like, wait, I just want to be an entertainer. So I started taking acting classes and doing comedy. And now I'm at a place where those things are blended, but I get to stay on the TV side, so I'm not actually fighting anybody, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, it's more so being open to the idea of doing something like that. So you're not
actually going to actually do it, you know?
If I were, I would certainly give you a heads up and be like, just throw me a bone.
My thing is this, you know, in this business, you know, you find your spot. You know, and right now I think you found a perfect spot.
100%.
You know what I mean? You're great at what you do. You know, you do it very, very well.
Thanks.
And I say do it to the best of your ability to whatever next come along. My wife, you know, Charmel, at one point she was down at OVW.
Yeah.
And she was training to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I just pull her to the side and I say, baby,
this
this is not for you.
Yeah.
You know, let it go. Let it go.
That's the good thing, is that it's not this like hoop dream that I'm holding on to of like, ooh, I just really hope that I get to have my WrestleMania moment. It's like, I'm not holding out for that. If somebody wants to slap me in the face one time, yeah, I mean, I'll listen to the option of maybe doing something like that. But you're right. I feel like I've been able to kind of create and carve out my own little niche in WWE, and I'm super happy that I've been able to do that. And we've got other girls that are coming up through the ranks as well to do some other stuff in WWE. So I'm pretty content with where I get to sit right now.
I tell you, I had an awesome time down in Orlando at the WrestleMania party.
Yeah.
I mean, we had an awesome time. We were dancing, singing Carmella's song.
That was the best. I loved that.
Actually, in our chemistry, it seemed like we've done this for, actually to me, it seemed like you and I have worked together for so long.
Yeah.
It seemed like we click off of each other. I mean, I know where you're going before you even go there a lot of times, and it feels really good. And I want to, say it's awesome working with you, and I'm looking forward to, 2017. It's going to be a great year.
Me too. I cannot wait. I feel the same way. It's like I feel like every time we've been able to work on kickoff shows together, doing the WrestleMania parties, now getting to do the SmackDown Live pre-shows. Like we get to do this like cool chemistry thing, and yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. We maybe need to pitch for a network show.
You know what? You like Skip Bayless,
Yeah.
And Stephen A. Smith. We need to
Wait,
get on.
would you be Skip or Steven?
Well, I'd be Steven. You know what I mean?
Damn it! So I have to be the villainous old man? Awesome.
You know what I mean? But I think a show like that would be good for the WWE Network.
Yeah.
And the perfect two to do it would be you and I.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Straight
couldn't agree
shooters.
more.
Straight shooters. I mean, if we got to get Raw Dog, you know what I mean? We could do that. You know what I mean?
We can get nasty and get down to it.
No, not nasty. If we have to get gutter.
Oh,
You know what I
okay.
mean?
You want to get gutter? I'll get gutter.
You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
get gutter AF.
If we have to get gutter, you know what I mean? That's what we can do, you know what I mean? So, again, I appreciate you.
Me too. I appreciate you too, Buck.
Yeah, most definitely. Hey, guys, this is Renee Young, my partner in crime. Stick around. We got a lot more heated conversation coming up. I got my man Brad Gilmore here. We talking about everything. We got tons more coming up on Heated Conversation, Sports Radio 610. Back in a momento.
Keep it gutter.
You're listening to Heated Conversations.
Tell me you did not just say that.
With Wrestling Hall of Famer Booker T.
This is Michael Rappaport of the I Am Rappaport Stereo Podcast. If you love fantasy football as much as I do, then come listen to the podcast for the fantasy football follies every week. We are bringing the fun and the funk back to fantasy. If you want to dance with the dingo in daily or weekly fantasy football and my team, Rappaport's Delight, then tune in to the I Am Rappaport Stereo Podcast on iTunes, Play It /Rappaport, and more. Fantasy football follies.
I Am Rappaport Podcast.
Talking MMA, wrestling, and boxing to music and sports superstars.
Can you dig it, sucker?
This is Heated Conversations with Booker T.
Welcome back to Heated Conversations on Sports Radio 610. Told you guys I was going to be snatching them up all day doing a show for the Toyota Center today. SmackDown Live going down. And I got one of the standouts from the 205, Cedric Alexander. What's going on, my man?
I'm doing good, Book. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing good, man. My thing is this 205 has been created for guys like yourself, and I'm loving it, me personally. I come from the day of the cruiserweights back in the WCW day, and those guys pretty much went out and stole the show on a nightly basis, but they didn't have their own platform like you got right now. You have your own platform, the 205. You guys get a chance to go out there and highlight and showcase your talent. So tell me, what has it been like?
It's been amazing. It's one of those things. It's cliche to say, but it's a dream come true.
Yeah,
It's one of those things that doing the Cruiserweight Classic we didn't think would go that far, but thankfully they have, and we look to take advantage of the opportunities.
Yeah, I say the Cruiserweight Classic could not have come at a better time. Watch some of the stuff you do. You major talent. What area are you from?
I'm from North Carolina, Charlotte to be exact.
Yeah, Charlotte, big wrestling country. Of course, Nature Boy Ric Flair being the honorary chairman of the board. Yeah,
Flair is God in North Carolina.
Exactly. How'd you get into business?
Just watching as a kid, watching the WCW cruiserweights, man,
Yeah.
and it was one of those things. I just couldn't take my eyes off of it. I had to be around it 24/7, and I actually got trained when I was 19 by George South.
Wow, I met George South, awesome guy. Been in the business for a long time. Qualifications stand out and speak for themselves. If you had to, say what kind of wrestling style you had, what would it be?
Oh man. Well, of course, I do a lot of the high flying stuff that the cruiserweights did back in WCW, and I do a little bit of Japanese strong style. I'm a big fan of that. Guys like Kabashi and Kawada influenced me heavily.
Yeah. Got Cedric Alexander here with me on Heated Conversation. Just talking about the 205 and, what it's like to actually make it to this point. You say it's a dream come true. Now when you walk around town, I'm sure you get recognized every now and then.
Every once in a while. I'm not quite to that level yet, but once in a while someone sees me and go, oh, man, I loved your match with Ibushi and stuff like that. And it's like, yep, I do other stuff too.
Yeah. Hey, what is it going to take? Because like I say, we look at Rick Swan, and I talk to him, and I say, hey, do you think you're going to dance your way all the way to the Cruiserweight Championship? And I was serious about that. He goes, yes, I think I am. I think I'm going to dance my way all the way to the championship. And I just didn't think that he was going to be able to pull it off. And now he finds himself, the champion. What is it going to take, for you to make it to that spot?
Well, I can't dance, so dancing my way to the top is not going to happen.
A lot of promoters ask me if I could dance. I couldn't dance. Yeah.
It's not my thing. I can't dance, but maybe just I would say outwork everyone else to get there.
Yeah.
And at one point or another, I will find my way to that belt.
Still the show.
Still the show. I'm the show stealer. That's what I call myself sometimes.
Yeah, that is the name of the game. One thing I noticed about you, your wrestling pretty much speak for itself. That is secondary. The one thing that questions me a little bit, you're not that vocal. You don't go out and, you don't make a lot of noise. Sometimes if you don't, rattle a few trees, you don't get hurt.
Right.
I mean, why is that? Or is that something you think you got to work on?
That's something I definitely have to work on. I'm naturally a quiet person. I try to stay to myself a lot. But in professional wrestling, I have to really turn myself up to 1,000. That's something I'm really trying to find a way to do a little bit better.
Yeah. That's one thing about WWE character building. When I first got here, I was pretty much like yourself. I mean, I talked a little bit, talked a little trash, Harlem Heat, whatnot. Just a little bit. But when I got here to this company, I was pretty much known as the ultimate wrestler, and then I had to find that character building, quality in myself. And I see you doing some of that right now. You got a love interest. Should I call it a love interest?
I wouldn't use the L word just yet.
What would you call it?
Very
smitten interest,
smitten affection, high school sweetheart kind of feeling.
Yeah, puppy dog like.
Yeah, puppy love.
Puppy love. All right, that might be the character building you need. Even but if you're gonna hit it, you gotta go. You gotta go in 100%. Am I right? Cedric Alexander. Well, I'm just saying.
You're not wrong. You're gonna go. You gotta go all the way.
Let's cut to the chase here. You know what I mean? Let's get busy. You know what I mean? If we're gonna, hey, I was looking at Enzo just last night talking about going to the not the hotel, the motel. With a man's wife. So take care of your business. I got my man Brad Gilmore here, and I know he got a couple of questions for you. What's up, Brad?
You know, when we were all, watching, I do have a couple questions. We were watching the Cruiserweight Classic. Obviously it was something that all the fans gravitated to. Mm-hmm. How did you react when you found out the news, one, that the Cruiserweights were going to go to Raw, and then after that, what did you think when you found out the Cruiserweights were getting their own show? Did you ever expect that going into the original tournament?
Oh, no. I just expected us to have this tournament. The belt would probably be a part of NXT or something like that. I didn't think it would be on the flagship show, and then on top of that, get its own show. So it was. I was definitely freaking out. It was happening so fast. There was almost no time to react, honestly.
Yeah. We look at Rick Swann. Give me your thoughts on Swann. I mean, we look at him right now. He's the champion. The brother, he's special.
Oh yeah.
I must say that. Just looking at him, from an outside perspective, I definitely did not see him being the guy that was going to, take the championship and now be the man in control in the 205, the Cruiserweight division. I did not see that happening, but the kid is special. What is your thoughts? I remember when I first got in the business, I wouldn't say first got in the business, but when I first thought about going to WCW, it was a guy by the name of Too Cold Scorpio.
Oh, I love Too Cold Scorpio.
Too Cold Scorpio, I mean, he could defy gravity. He could do anything. He was 260 pounds, 250 pounds. He's a big guy, and he could actually do this. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get in WCW now. I mean, I might as well give up. It's not going to happen for me. I'm done. Unless this guy move on somewhere. What is your thoughts on this kid Swann, and how you going to be able to deal with someone like that?
Well, first of all, I love Swann. I've known Swann since my earliest days in wrestling, and unless people don't really know Swann, he's like that all the time.
Yeah.
He's always singing, he's always dancing, all the time, 24/7. That's Rich Swann. But I don't know, man. To overtake Swann and try to hopefully take his position as top guy of the Cruiserweight division, it's gonna take some thought. I'm not sure yet. He's just as athletic as me. He's 10 times more charismatic as me. I'm gonna be honest about that. But I think through some trial and error, I'll be able to get his number one day.
My final question, and I got to know. I ask pretty much every superstar, every wrestler that put on a pair of boots that want to work at that elite level, the question, do you think that you are the best? You know what I mean? You say, Swann's got a lot of talent. A lot of those guys, Perkins, I mean, he's got a lot of talent, you know what I mean? All those guys, they all got a lot of talent, you know what I mean? Do you think you're better than those guys?
Honestly, I honestly do think I am better than those guys. Not to shot against them, but I live, eat, and breathe wrestling 24/7, and that's all I ever wanted to be. That's all I ever imagined I could be in my life. So for me, there's no room for failure. I refuse to let myself fail. I refuse.
Yeah. I tell you what, I watch you in the ring, guys. Cedric Alexander, WWE 205 Cruiserweight division, superstar standout, soon to be champion, and perhaps many, many times over. Cedric Alexander, I want to, thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you, sir.
First and foremost, and definitely, man, keep your eyes on the prize, man. I always say, in this business, the only luck you're ever going to have, is how you prepare. The way you, strategize, your game plan, and then first and foremost, going out there and stealing the show each and every night. I always tell the story about, God rest his soul, Dusty Rhodes. He saw me go out and I wrestled first one night on the WCW card, and I came back through the curtain, and Dusty was standing there, and he said, "They won't put you on first no more, kid." You know what I'm saying? I knew I was doing something right. You know what I mean? So definitely look for those moments right there. Look for those moments for them to put you out there first and go out there and just shock and amaze the crowd and do it like it's supposed to be done. Make them pay, my son. Make them say, "Daddy, I don't want none. I had enough." That's my man, Cedric Alexander. Thanks for coming on the show, bro.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Boom. Heated Conversation, Sports Radio 610. Back in a memento.
You're listening to Heated Conversations.
Tell me you did not just say that.
With Wrestling Hall of Famer Booker T.
Introducing Play.it, a podcast network like no other, featuring award-winning news programming and digital exclusives with business experts and thought leaders.
Tonight on 60 Minutes.
This is All Business with Jeffrey Hazel.
Smart Money Fundamentals, the Business Rockstars podcast.
Welcome to the Real Estate Life. We give you that news and information.
We plan to tell the gritty stories of entrepreneurship.
What's happening in business today?
Play.it is delivering storytelling at its best.
This is going to inspire so many people.
Hear what you've been missing at Play.it.
Talking MMA, wrestling, and boxing to music and sports superstars.
You bigot, sucker.
This is Heated Conversations with Booker T.
Welcome back to Heated Conversations on Sports Radio 610. Guys, I told you we are coming from the Toyota Center today. SmackDown Live, and got the former tag team champions here with me right now, Rhyno and Heath Slater. Guys, how y'all doing?
Well, doing pretty good. Just got done with the match and, feeling good. Not as good. Yeah.
I got to ask the question.
Feeling good for the circumstances.
I mean, Rhyno, you've been around a long time. You've been in the business a long time. You find yourself in a position being the tag team champions with Heath Slater. First and foremost, how was the ride? How was the ride?
It was great. Heath really stepped up. He needed someone, and I seen that. He had that fighting spirit, and. So I decided, you know what, I'll tag with him and we'll see where this goes. And I have to admit, he's probably been the most favorite person I've ever tagged with, and one of the most favorite persons.
He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
Nice guy. Hard
nice
worker.
Family.
Yeah, real nice family. And he's gotten a double wide because of this and a above ground pull. And I'm happy to say that I helped him achieve those goals on buying that for his family.
He's on a serious note.
Yeah.
Bruh, you've done something not very many superstars can do on a serious note. I mean, you've weathered the storm. I mean, guys getting fired, whatnot, the three-man band, all of them gone.
Yeah.
You still here. That lets me know that, bro, you in it for the long haul.
I'm trying to be.
Tell me what's your secret, man, because a lot of guys don't. I look at the New Day, and what they came up out of. I mean, they had a lot to deal with. Now we look at them. They want to. Top stars on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yourself, you've gone through a whole lot. Now you find yourself tag team champion and still here. What's your secret?
The only thing I can say is
somebody like you.
Yeah. Has to be, right?
No, what is it, man? I mean, what do you think it is?
Thank you for those kind words that you said, though. I appreciate that dearly. Honestly, what I think it is that I bend the rules, I don't break them.
Yeah.
I speak my mind, I'm real. What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is. I bust my ass, I work hard.
Yeah.
And every little tiny opportunity that they give me, I stretch it. If they give me an inch, I'll take a mile out of it. Somehow I'll bend it and stretch it to where, people are going to like it, hopefully, and all of that. But it's only thing I can say is just when the storm comes, you just got to face it head on and keep going.
Yeah, I got to say it. Actually, Sam, I didn't actually hear it personally, but my family always said, my dad used to say, cream always rises to the top, baby.
Very true.
And that's cream what I think that you have in you, man. You got a lot of talent. I just think put in the right position, you're going to definitely get your chance to shine here in the WWE on a broader perspective than even the Tag Team Championship. But I tell you, I'm going in there with Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton. What was that like?
Well, two of the best today. I mean, Randy's been here for years and everything, and, Bray's still young and all that, but he's coming up. But, they're talented guys. I mean, hands down, Randy's one of the best, that we have up here, and Bray is, just as good. But to me, it's like They got the people behind them, and they are a dominant duo. And I'm just glad that I had a chance to go against them and face them and give them my all, just so everyone in the WWE and the WWE Universe knows that me and Rhyno can hang with the best also.
You guys plan on riding this tag team thing out? Because I know for me personally, the tag team was a springboard for me. It catapulted me to where I'm at today. You know, if it wouldn't have been for my brother, I can honestly say I wouldn't be here today. So what you guys thinking about?
Well, I just to add another thing, what makes Heath so special is his hard work, his dedication, his determination. He's always here on time. He always works hard. But I definitely see a future with us still being a tag team, because our philosophy was, and our strategy was, we'll send Heath in there. He can take a hell of a beating.
Yeah. Kind of like when me and my brother. Right. I used to take the beat. He used to come in and get the covers.
So he can relate.
Yeah.
And then at the moment when our opponents are worn down from beating Heath too much, tag me in, and then I clean up. And that's very good for me, because I'm saving my body and getting up in age. I definitely like the fact that I'm saving my body. So our strategy we climbed to the tag team champions, the first ever SmackDown live tag team champions.
That's a goal, right? I mean that right there. That's something right there. Yeah. That's something you guys will be able to look back on and say, wow, we was the first to actually go out there and pull that off. And then, I always said, being the champion is one thing, but for the company to believe in you,
right,
to actually, put that on you, for you guys to go out there and represent for SmackDown, that lets me know exactly what they think about you guys first and foremost as individuals.
Yeah, it is, and and being in the ring with him, it was an honor, and when you wrestle guys like Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, whether you lose or you win, you come out. If you come out of the match, you come out a better competitor.
I hope you guys.
Because you get better by wrestling people that are better.
I hope you guys stick around as a tag team, because I think you guys are great together. Before I let you go, you Rhyno, you ran for office here a little while ago, and I wanted to get some.
Donations my way. We can work on that.
I want to get some advice, because actually, we're here in Houston today, and I want to put it out there right now. Mm-hmm. Heated Conversation, Sports Radio 610, 2020. Booker T is going to be running for mayor.
And, awesome, my man.
And I was wondering,
my man,
do you got any advice for me?
You know what? Just be you. Be honest with just be honest with the voters and the public, and I'm happy to hear you say that, because knowing you all these years, you're a great guy, you're a family man. What you say is what you do, and that's what we need more men and women like you, myself, to step forward and then go out there and work hard and do well for your communities.
Yeah. Plus they can't put no dirt out on me. It's already out there.
Well,
everything.
And plus, and the thing.
You've been a straight up guy. Just tell it how it is.
That's the way it's supposed to be. Tell it like it is.
Good for you. I want to shake your hand, Book. I'm proud to hear that. You'll be a hell of a mayor. And the thing is you could do the job. You are overqualified for the job, just because wrestling not only prepares you for life, but it prepares you for positions like that, because, one, you feel the emotion from the people. You know what they want. You built yourself from where you were to where you're at now. And you know what? I mean, you're probably the most qualified person to run for that office, and who's going to run. Yeah. You're King Booker.
Mel Booker do something.
There you go.
You know what I mean? I was thinking, it's almost like having a championship name. Right. You got to have a mayoral name.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mel Booker. Right. It sounds good. You get something done around this
I
city.
might move to Houston to vote for you.
So, hey, guys, I appreciate you guys, more importantly, for coming on the show. Heated Conversation, Sports Radio 610. You guys are awesome. Like I say, Heath, Slater. Big ups, big props to you, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't let nobody tell you you can't, because you have already, proved all the pundits. You know what I mean? Just like Donald Trump running, they said the numbers are going this way, are going that way, and they were all wrong. Everybody's been wrong about Heath Slater. You are the guy that should be here for a long time. And Rhyno, Heath, appreciate you guys for coming on the show. Hey, guys, this Heath's Conversation back in a minute. More talk in a momento.
You're listening to Heated Conversations.
Tell me you did not just say that.
With Wrestling Hall of Famer Booker T.
This is Michael Rappaport of the I Am Rappaport Stereo Podcast. If you love fantasy football as much as I do, then come listen to the podcast for the fantasy football follies every week. We are bringing the fun and the funk back to fantasy. If you want to dance with the dingo in daily or weekly fantasy football and my team, Rappaport's Delight, then tune in to the I Am Rappaport Stereo Podcast on iTunes, Play It /Rappaport, and more. Fantasy football follies.
I Am Rappaport Podcast.
Talking MMA, wrestling, and boxing to music and sports superstars.
Can you dig it, sucker?
This is Heated Conversations with Booker T.
Welcome back to Heated Conversation, guys. What an awesome show today we've had. I mean, it seemed like it just flew by with, all the cool guests. And for me, what I like talking about more than anything, like talking to Cedric Alexander, a young guy in the 205. Pretty much like Demetrius Johnson, a division was created for these guys so they can actually come out here and do their stuff. I remember back in WCW, Eric Bischoff, I was talking to him one day, and he was saying these cruiserweights, they are specifically designed for a car crash. That's what he wanted to see on the show. Nice. Out of the cruiserweights. But I don't believe that's what these guys are. I don't think that they're in it, to push these guys to be car crashes. I think these guys are in it to be superstars, create their own division so they don't have to actually go out there and perform with the bigger guys where they're at such of a disadvantage, where even if they did win, what is the fan going to think? Other than a guy like a Kalisto, a guy who's, mega ultra talented, from so many different perspectives. There's only one Rey Mysterio. We all know that.
We all know there's only one Rey.
Exactly, you know what I mean? But for me, those stories right there, seeing a guy like Heath Slater, a guy that's been through the machine so many times, you wondered, when the three-man band was, dismantled, you was wondering when Heath Slater's going to get his pink slip. But it just lets you know that when the company looks at a Heath Slater, they see talent in a Heath Slater. So and me personally, when I look at Heath Slater, you listen to the guy on the microphone, you know he's good.
He's entertaining.
You watch him in the ring, the guy is good. He's actually a boxer. Heath Slater, you look at him, you wouldn't think this guy could knock you out, but Heath Slater is actually a legitimate, tough guy. You know what I mean? So definitely, those are the guys that I think. Make me get my juices flowing.
Well, and I agree with you. I think Cedric Alexander's awesome. I think, Heath Slater's awesome. He's been able to put together a great run. But this is off topic, but I do have to ask. So a long time ago, we were doing a reality wrestling show. Shelton Benjamin was down, and he was talking to all of us back at the show. We were talking to him about, his career, chit-chat. And he said, well, hey, I have a piece of advice for all of you. He goes, when you go to the WWE, if you ever get there, if any of you ever make it, just know there are two sets of rules. There's the rules, and then there are Booker rules.
Yeah.
So what are the Booker rules? Because when I watch you walk around here, you talked about being the mayor of Houston. I feel like you're the mayor back here. Like everyone pays their respects. Everyone says hello. No one tells you no. They figuratively kiss the ring in a sense. What are the Booker rules? Yeah, first off,
there are no rules.
Those are the no rules.
Booker, no. My thing is highly respected. I've made sure I've treated everyone the way I want to be treated. I tell it like it is. I speak my mind 100% of the time. If I got something to say, I'm going to speak up 100% of the time. I've always been that guy. I've been Johnny on the spot. I talk to the guys now that even I work with. They're new guys. They're young, and they have a lot of respect for me. And sometimes they don't want to push my button or anything like that. But I say, hey, man, when you need me, I'm Johnny on the spot. I'm going to be there every time you need me. I'm not going to be one of these guys holding you up saying, hey, I'll be there when I can. I'm going to get there. I'm going to make sure I do that job just like my brother told me a long time ago when he got me my first job. My brother told me, you do that job and you do that job to the best of your ability till something better comes along. And I've been using that motto for many, many years, and I really honestly think, that's one of the reasons I'm still around. I tell people all the time, you could be, ultra talented at what you do. You could be mega talented at what you do, and people don't like you. You're not going to stick around very long. You could just be just pretty good at what you do, and people like you. You'll stick around forever. And I think that's what I have first and foremost, more than anything. I'm always trying to make people laugh. You know what I mean? I'm always, somebody asks me what kind of day I'm having. I say every day is I'm in paradise. Every day above ground is a good day, and I think me having that attitude, and 16 years later here in this company, I'm still here. 26 years, in the business, I'm still here. One of the last surviving members of the WCW, if not the last.
Well, it's funny though, as you say that though, but you've been in WWE more than you were ever in WCW.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. You know what I mean? That's what's crazy. I've been a part of pretty much 2 companies my whole career, my whole adult life, and it's been awesome. It's been a great ride, and to have the respect of my peers, have the respect of the camera guys, have the respect of the truck guys that drive the trucks and stuff like that. And I treat those guys the same way I treat, all the rest of them.
Well, everyone seems like that. I mean, it seems like you stopped. I remember when we were back there and you walked into catering. First thing you did is stop at the production table, talk to all the camera guys and the lighting guys. First thing you did, you shook everyone's hand, said hello, and then Michael P.S. Hayes demands Mauro Ranallo stand up and give you an ovation.
P.S. Hayes, one of the guys that I've been riding with for a long time, way before I ever got to WCW. I got a chance to meet Michael Hayes, and he's always been a brother. You know what I mean? I'm serious. It's so many
Blue-eyed soul.
I'm serious. You know what I mean? Michael Hayes, he definitely, even back in the day when he used to come through Houston, back at Sam Houston Coliseum, Paul Bosch, Houston Wrestling, he's always been a brother. You know what I mean? And that's the way the brothers always looked at Michael Hayes, like he was one of us. You know what I mean?
Like, what is it about him?
Michael Hayes, he was doing the moonwalk.
Yeah. He kind of dresses like a pimp a little bit. You know what I mean?
He's got like a magic wand.
Yeah, like a Don Magic Wand. Yeah.
And that's
it works for him too.
Trust me, that's no get up. He dresses like that every single week. I've seen Michael Hayes. He's got some of the most outrageous. He looked like he's going to a pimp convention. Every week. But he is a player.
Yeah.
Give it up to Michael Hayes. He is he's a player, and definitely one of my favorite people.
No, and I think, Michael Hayes, one of the guys who the reputation speaks to himself. But how is it for you now being on I can only imagine you never thought you'd be on the other side, right? Like be on the broadcasting side. You always had the commentators, but I'm sure you never thought that you'd be one of them. And now I really think, aside from Michael Cole, I think you're the most tenured announcer on the team.
My thing is I love embracing, where I'm at in life. Right now, this stage of my life is awesome. To still be a part of WWE, still be a part of, watching. I was talking to a guy just last week, and I told him that, it's cool just to still be relevant. Still be, who I am, doing what I do, and he looked at me, he goes, man, I don't like the word relevant, for you. That's not a good word for you. And then I go, well, what I mean by staying relevant is you got so many young people coming up doing so many incredible things. We, have to take a step aside and say, hey, man, go for it. Do what you do. But to stay relevant within that storm, of young people still doing their thing, to stay relevant and people still want, to, see the Spinneroonie and do the, 5-time, want to take a photo with Booker T when he walk out of the house. That means a whole lot to stay relevant within that storm of everything going on, because you actually could get lost in that storm and never be heard of or seen ever again. And like I say, for me, it's been 26 years. I've had a 26-year career, like a snowball going downhill, just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, you heard it, 2020, I'm preparing myself right now to run for mayor of the city of Houston, and I'm going to need a lot of support on that. And I think as long as I just keep being the person that I am right now, I think I get a lot of support, towards my mayorship.
Well, my question, though, is you start off, Booker T with Stevie Ray, Harlem Heat, and then at some point something told you I need to do it by myself. I need to go solo, right? Then you became Booker T with the flat top and the mustache, right? And then something told you I need to change that, right? Yeah. And then you came to WWE. You were Booker T with the dreads, and then you became King Booker. Yeah. And then now you've gone from King Booker to not only running your own promotion, focusing now on the broadcast side of things, doing a radio show, doing pre-shows like with Renee Young, like we talked about. And now you're looking at the mayoralship of the fourth largest city in the United States. Yeah. How do you know when to make the turn?
I don't think you really know. You go with your gut, instinct, feel, intuition. I think a lot of that has to do with, for me, as far as the decisions I make. Like running for mayor, it came to me in the middle of the night.
In a vision.
In a vision. And I said, this is something that I had to do. Just a couple of nights ago, I was at a boxing match, and it came to me at this boxing match that I have to run for mayor of the city. And I called my wife, and and I told her about it. I said, baby, I'm running for mayor. And she started laughing. It was like the biggest laugh, in the world. I'm like, baby, I got home. I told her, baby, I'm running for mayor. She's still laughing. You know what I mean?
She's not taking you seriously, or she's laughing because she knows you're serious.
She knows how stupid I am. and then I woke up the next morning talking to somebody on the phone about it. And she goes, are you still talking that nonsense? You running for mayor? I go, baby, yeah, I'm thinking about, I got to do this. I think I got to do it. She goes, do you know how much work I'm going to have to do? Because she does all the work now, for reality wrestling, and everything else, all of my bookings and everything. She's the one who's doing it, but definitely, I think I got a chance.
I think you got a hell of a chance.
I think the time is now. It's no better time than right now for Booker T to make a play for it. Hey, guys, we got to wrap up. We got to get up out of here. I want to thank all my guests for being on the show today. It's been an awesome, awesome show. Definitely got to thank Brad Gilmore, my producer, Josh Reese, for making all this happen, man. I mean, this is a movement, guys. This is a movement. I need everyone out there to get along the band. I mean, you know what? Jump on the bandwagon. I don't mind coattail jumpers. This is Booker T. I'm getting ready to do this thing, man. We're running for mayor 2020. Can you dig it? Guys, get ready. I'm going to need an army. No. I'm going to need a universe.
Oh, yes.
To help this thing all come to fruition. Hey, guys, this is Booker T, 6-time world heavyweight champion, WWE Hall of Famer, King of the Ring, champion of champions, and we out.